I thought you said they don't make a big deal out of stuff.
There's my favorite graduate now.
Oh, and there's mine.
Sit down. Okay. Hey, I got some good news. Huh? They made graduation optional this year, so you don't have to get all dressed up and waste your whole morning in that boring old ceremony. Boring? A child's graduation could be the happiest day of a parent's life.
He's right.
We wouldn't miss it for the world.
All right, well, listen, so before you get too excited, I think it's on my show.
Not now, Kenan. I got a big surprise for you. Come on out, everybody!
Grandma, Uncle Louie, and other sort of relatives. What y'all doing here?
We flew in today just to watch you graduate.
Oh, I can't wait to see you up there getting your diploma. It's gonna be quite a day.
Say that again.
Welcome to Kenan and Kel with Ab and Aaron. Well, if that's Aaron, I must be Adam.
And if that's Adam, I must be Aaron.
Louder than people cheering for Adam.
So, Adam, what are you wearing on stage? No, that'd be me. Aaron, what are you wearing on stage? A graduation cap. Whoa, foreshadowing. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do the whole episode this way.
Oh, we should do one. I'm Cal, and I'm explaining what's happening.
I was gonna say that'd be perfect if there's a burner episode, but I don't know if there's any burner episodes left. They all feel very significant from
we'll
here
go
on
back
out.
And
Season 5 of our podcast will be us redoing episodes as
yeah,
Kenan and Kel.
we'll have the script and we'll read the script out loud.
Every week we talk about a different episode from Kenan and Kel, the 90s Nickelodeon sitcom. And this one, we are on Season 4, Episode 7, The Graduates, where Kenan and Kel are done with high school.
So early in this episode, we find out that this episode takes place during like the last day of school. It doesn't seem like they make a big deal out of it.
No, they...
I don't know. I feel like the writers... And I'm not here to critique the writers right away, but I mean, come on, last day of school, Kenan and Kel. I know high school's always been secondary to them, but it would have been nice to see a little bit more of like a build up or something around that. But nonetheless, this episode's pretty solid.
I would agree. It's the same situation as last episode where it's like, oh, it starts off with like the end of Kyra's birthday, and it's like, wait a second, that was once a whole episode.
Right.
I'm thinking Ditch Day Afternoon. That could have been a whole to-do about a single day of school.
And well, we should probably set the stage first by talking about what happens on stage, but we'll get right back to that. Yeah, Kel's wearing like a rubber shirt.
It's so
and then
weird.
Black overalls and the graduation cap, and Kenan's just wearing normal outfit, jeans and like a short sleeve button down.
The contrast between them is really funny because this is 1999 and they couldn't look more night and day. Kenan would be acceptable nowadays. Cal would never be acceptable.
Yeah, he's so 90s.
Yeah. I like that there's a continuity with Cal like requiring a hat nowadays because he like takes off his graduation cap as a bit. And then he immediately has a red fedora to put on.
Right. It's his character to have a hat. Yeah, so his bit is he takes the hat off. Kenan goes, "Why do you have that graduation cap on your head?" And he goes, "Oh, because it won't fit on my face." Puts it in front of his face. It falls down. Like, ah, ha, ha. And then you see the size of his overalls. He's got these cuffs. These cuffs are like they're 5-inch cuffs, and they're cuffed a couple times. Like, these things are enormous.
Yeah, they wouldn't fit on any normal person.
I know, not really.
So yeah, that's what he's decked in, and Cal has the hat because he wants to practice with it for graduation.
Right, and then Kenan says something along the lines of, "Well, we might not be graduating tonight. Come on, Skippy," or whatever.
Yep.
Whatever it is that he says.
He runs off. Cal shows off his practicing skills with his hat by throwing into the rafters, and the light falls down.
A lamp, as Kenan says.
Yeah. A real lamp, too. I can't believe that they had the explosion of sparks and glass shattering everywhere.
That is a bad prop lamp.
It's the start of the Truman Show is going into this episode.
Right. Kel's like, I'm the worst graduate ever.
Yeah, but Kenan cheers up with what you said. Like, we don't mind having graduates, so don't worry about it.
Come on, Feezy.
Yeah, and they get into the episode.
You know, I don't want to take these opening scenes for granted, Adam, because I know we're coming to the end of Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron, or just Kenan and Kel. We'll see. We'll see what happens to our podcast. But, man, I wish there was like an unlimited supply of these intros. just Kenan and Kel. I wonder if they have some like deleted scenes ones, or like some ones that didn't make the cut.
I personally would love if they did like the type of I'm thinking of Tales from the Crypt. Type thing where like they introed other like Nickelodeon programs. It was always like them doing this bit, and then it's like now watch it. Clarissa Explains It All, or what have you.
Right. They did like a little skit before the show started. They could have been hosts for like Nickelodeon. You know, Nickelodeon had like hosts, and they would like tell you like what was happening on Nickelodeon and
the game show personalities and stuff.
Yeah, they could have done that stuff, but yeah.
I think they have that status right now on Currents. All that.
Do they? Are they like involved in?
They're producers of the show. I think they do some writing. And now then they reprise characters.
It's great that they're working together.
Yeah, it's a really
that's so awesome.
We're in a good time in Kenan and Kel history. There's some dark might want to have an episode about that in the early aughts.
Yeah, we should. But anyways, there's still buddies here, and all here goes. We open the red curtain. And what do we have here in the Rockmore residence, Adam?
This is...
How would you describe this gathering of people?
Is a gaggle. A gaggle of high school seniors who all look like they're in their 20s.
Yeah, but there's just the strangest mix of people here.
I think they got one person to represent every clique. Because you have a jock, a cheerleader, Mark Cram, he's the nerd. You got Charla, who's like the cool girl. You got Kenan and Kel, they're their own like separate thing. There's a weird guy. And then there's the rest of them.
There's a couple other weird people, but yeah. Cal knocks on the door. Kyra opens it.
Kyra looks so old.
She looks like she's definitely like well into high school now.
She's almost Kenan's height. Canonically, she's either like 12 or 13, and it's so funny to me.
Yeah. How would they know when they casted her that she was going to hit a growth spurt in 3 years?
They just make her older. I'm currently slowly reading through one of the Kenan and Kel books to see if it's good for our program. And in it, they like retconned her age.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they're like this was back when I think like Kenan was like 16, and they're like, oh yeah, and Kyra's like 12. I'm like, not by my math.
No, we've done it. We've done the math. Mm. Those people, they didn't do the math. We did the math.
It's Kel at the door, and Kyra tells him that there's a password, and the password's a kiss.
Yeah, and then she gets pulled away by Kenan, thankfully. Kel comes in, takes his perch. Kyra has to go upstairs because this is a super secret meeting, and then Kenan commences this gathering of their classmates.
What are they talking about, Aaron?
Well, tomorrow's the last day of school, and they need to do a memorable senior prank like the seniors do every year.
Which is great. I love how long that Kenan's put this off for.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, it really fits his character.
It's the night before their last day of school, and he's like, hey, let's get all the seniors together, all 12 of them.
Yes, the whole seniors. It would make sense that it's somebody from every clique, but anyway. Did your class ever do a senior prank, Adam?
No. We were the first class in our senior school. So
right.
and they were kicking out like staff members left and right. I think everyone was a little too nervous. Did you have a senior class prank?
We did, but it was stupid. It was like a walk out of class. People like walked out of class and like went to the auditorium and like pretended to like take a nap or something stupid. And everybody just got like detentions. And not enough people did it where it was like
you did have the numbers on your side.
I didn't do it because I was like, that's stupid. Like if you had a good idea, I would do it, but that was stupid. We did like a senior skip day, but not a real prank.
Were there any good ones across like the 4 years you were at school?
I don't really think so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't really think there was that much. There was a lot of like traditions, but no senior prank wasn't really.
I recall we had winter uniforms And there's the springtime where you turn them over, and seniors technically didn't need their like outside sweaters anymore. So one time they like coated like the disciplinary guys like car with like their sweaters.
Oh, I like that. See, that's great.
I saw that like at track practice. They're like, I'm like, that's funny. And then I saw like as I was leaving, like they were like literally going over sweaters and like, looking for names in them. It's like, man, how stupid do you have to be to leave your name on the sweater that you?
What are you gonna do, right? It's like, oh yeah, oh we're gonna get you.
Anyway, so yeah, like, Kenan's very much like, yeah, get out of here, Kyra. This is for seniors only. They're going over plan ideas, and Mark, like my class, maybe we shouldn't do anything.
Yeah. It's like, but Mark, it's a tradition.
Yeah, and not just that, it's Principal Horn's first year, and it's their chance to leave their mark on the school.
Did we see Principal Horn before?
No. We had a different principal for all 3 seasons.
Principal Dimley.
Correct. Apparently, in Kenan's senior year, Principal Dimley was replaced by Principal Horn.
Miss Horn. It was Miss Horn.
I'm questioning whether or not it's Miss Horn.
It has to be Miss Horn. It's the same
actress.
Isn't it the same actress?
Kim Fields, the director. However, yeah, it's her.
Principal Horn is Kim Fields.
Yes.
Wow.
The reason why I'm hesitant is because she does not mention anything that happened them previously in the Miss Horn, adventure. 2, she was a substitute teacher back then. Now she's all the way at like principal.
Yeah. Maybe that's my trajectory.
Yeah. The third one is that she's got like different hair. She's clearly wearing a wig, and she wears glasses, and I think she's presenting as a different person. So either she had one hell of a crazy year, or
conspiracy theory time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here we go. It is the same person. But she slowly climbed her way up through manipulative tactics changing her appearance. And so she climbed the administrative ladder at COOLBRIDGE High School, and maybe she's like the interim principal or something like that.
Ooh,
like
she
had an assistant principalship, and then something happened to Principal Dimley, like she had to go on leave or.
Yeah, she was the substitute principal.
I think so. I think she climbed her way up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she just kept dressing nicer and nicer until somebody gave her a position. You can do that, by the way. Like, that's a thing. If I showed up in a suit, they'd be like, oh, wait a second. We need to give him more things to do.
I like that theory a lot more than what I was thinking. Like, oh, it's like her sister or something. But
no, come on.
That's great. She's the principal now. Look at me. I'm the principal now.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, we got to leave our mark on the school, trying to convince Mark Cram that we need to do the senior prank. And then what does Kel do?
He's like, oh, great idea. We'll leave Mark on top of the school.
What? Great play on words here. So Kel tries to pick up Mark, and then he like throws him, kind of.
The weird guy suggests that they release 100 frogs into the cafeteria.
And that would have been great unless the seniors last year didn't do the same exact prank.
Mm-hmm. The jock guy says that on behalf of the football team, I say we beat the Lincoln High Cougars.
And then the cheerleader goes, yeah, beat the Cougars or something stupid. I'm not a fan of how the football player jock is portrayed. The writers must have really had some bad experiences with football players in high school.
It's funny because this is also like this is pushed like far too late into the 20s. The image of like the Letterman jacket wearing like bully character,
right?
Which you work in high school. Does that character exist anymore?
No, I mean like kind of, but no. Yeah, there's senior athletes who are like kind of a little untouchable, but I wouldn't say untouchable, but they're like high status in the school, but they're not jocks. They're mostly just like whatever. I think they're lame, but but that's just my personal opinion.
What's Kel's idea for a senior prank?
Yeah, so Kenan says, no, we should like break into Principal Horn's office. And then Kel says, yeah, and then leave really nice furniture.
Right. But Kel's full plan, his original one is that he's like, we should rearrange all the freshmen's faces using plastic surgery.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which is insane.
It doesn't even like register on the feasibility meter.
Hang on, I'm checking which year the movie Face Swap came out.
Her Face Off? Is it Face Off?
Yeah, I think it's Face Off. Face Swap's the app.
Face Off with Nicolas Cage.
1997. So Kel probably saw the movie Face Off.
Pull some inspiration from Face Off. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. But yeah, you described like what Kenan's thinking. Fill in Principal Horn's office.
Right, with nice furniture. It's like, no. How about pudding?
And everyone loves the pudding idea. They're like, let's take a vote, and they all punch up in the air and say, pudding!
Everybody's like, okay, so this is the plan now, right? They're going to put pudding in Principal Horn's office. Foolproof plan. Mark does not like the idea.
Not even a little bit, no. Kenan's parents enter, which is very startling for a senior prank.
Yeah. And they're like, pudding? What's up with pudding? Who's talking about pudding?
I like how everyone just, like, covers for Kenan. Like, they come up with a bunch of, like, excuses.
Yeah, did you notice that happening a little bit this episode?
Yeah, I think everyone...
Different people are starting to, like, almost defend Kenan, or, like, his lies are woven into such a thick web that there's, like, nothing can kind of surpass it.
Yeah, right. Everyone's kind of starts to back him up, and when he doesn't want them to is always the best part of this.
Yeah. So, this is they come up with the cover that this is the Pudding Lovers Club, and Kenan's the president. And Roger goes, man, I wish that they had a Pudding Lovers Club when I was in high school.
When
Back
I was
in
a
my
kid,
day.
yeah, we had to walk 5 miles just to get pudding.
Yeah. And then Cheryl like ushers him upstairs. Like, okay, Roger, you've had enough.
Yeah.
You've had enough interaction with the youth. We don't want you corrupting them anymore.
Kenan's a little despondent that he can't. He's like, but how are we going to get the pudding in her place? They make a big wave to scare her, and Mark's like, oh, you can make a pudding pump. I mean, I don't know how to do that. And they do a really good job of, like, bribing him and kind of like getting him to, like, if you did design one, what would it look like?
Okay, Mark, you don't have to help, but if you did, and what I love is that all of the characters in the room, all like 15 of them, they just like hop on the couch or behind the couch and lean in, and Mark's like all at the center. And they're like, so what would it look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he starts designing it, engineering it. I think, as an engineer myself, I think what he's proposing, using the words that he uses, could work.
It sounds like feasible.
Yeah, it involves a, what do we got here? Hose, air pressure pump next to the pudding vat, and, like, it's good. So we go to Rigby's in our next scene.
What do we learn about Charlotte, Adam?
She is valedictorian.
Yeah! Whoa! She's smart.
Yeah, she's got the best grades in class.
I wish we knew how many people went to their high school, because from all we've ever seen, it's like 30. It's like about as many people as fit in a room.
They listed off... Oh, actually... No, that's not it. We could always go back to the Picture Day episode and, like, say, take that number of kids in the school.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But real quick, I do want to point out... you mentioned it earlier. I recalled what it was. COOLBRIDGE High School.
Yep.
Not Capone High School.
Oh.
In Season 2, they attended Capone High School.
Oh.
So I think Kenan and Kel, maybe they did themselves, maybe it was like a school merger type thing, but between Season 2 and 3, they changed schools. Because their new school has Charla in it, who was, as Mark in it. He's a new kid in town. So that's a little excusable. But it's missing Janet. Remember Janet from the first school?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so maybe she's still at COOLBRIDGE.
It was probably like a redistricting thing or something.
Honestly, that's probably it too, because Principal Dimley was still there.
Well, realistically, what it probably was is they just didn't remember the name.
Are you saying that they didn't have a Bible that they wrote down what the name of their school was?
I don't think they did. Someone tells me that and they were just too lazy to, like, go back, and they're like, oh, well, let's just do this. But it could be a merger, it could be whatever, but it seems like a public high school.
Yeah.
So
I think you can tell by the way that the dialogue is written that they never really want to commit to world building. They never want to, like, how many opportunities did they have to say the name of the school that no one did?
Right. High school.
Yeah, like the jock, he was just like, I don't know what Kenan's school's team is. I don't know, like, any of that. So
anyways, Charlotte is valedictorian. She's writing a speech, And Kel goes, "Oh, wait, you don't eat meat?"
No, that's a vegetarian. I got the best grades in class. Just because you don't eat meat?
Yeah, that's not fair. I'm glad that Charlotte's in this episode. I think episodes are better with her. Yeah, good banter back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the role that she plays. I could see her backstory being like, after the 3 girls, a guy in a Cineplex disaster, she kind of just threw herself into her work and became valedictorian.
Makes sense.
I also like that that's not Mark, the nerd. He's a nerd, but he's not the best kid in school.
Right. Well, that's like typical, right? That's a thing, right?
Yeah.
The valedictorian, it's like this really smart, like, just person who's like all put together, and you're just like, ugh. Who are they? Oh, you worked too hard for this.
Seeing like the goody, like give a speech like, we're all in this together. And it's like, I don't know. You're not my friend.
You're not one of us. You don't know what it's like to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, not like me giving my graduation speech.
Yeah.
At college. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that at the future episode of Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron when Adam reads his graduation speech. Oh, Adam, did you hear?
The speech?
The St. Joe's class of 2020 is finally having a graduation ceremony in 2022.
I can't wait. I'm sure that won't be canceled or moved again.
No further comment. May.
Okay, right. So
maybe, Adam, what I'm saying is maybe I'll get to speak at graduation now. I'm joking.
Oh, yeah, here's hoping.
I'm joking. Okay, so Chris comes out and he's stocking some things. And what are Kenan and Kel preparing to kind of steal from Rigby's here, Adam?
They're going to borrow pudding from the shelf. I counted. There are 250 boxes of pudding on the shelf, give or take.
What?
Yep.
How did you do that?
It's a volume thing. It's about 5 deep. They're 5 across. Maybe like I don't know, X number of stacks high. There's a couple odds and ends here, so I, estimate around 10 loose ones. So 250.
Why would that be the first thing on the shelf? Like somebody walks in and they just see pudding.
Well, that's what Kenan's kind of saying to Chris. He's like, "Hey man, no one's buying all this pudding. You mind if we borrow some of it?" I like the word borrow. Yeah. I also love the way that Kenan first initiates talking to Chris. He says, "How's it going, buddy?" And Chris says, "Oh, terrible, actually."
Yeah. He doesn't even, and that's it. That's all Chris has to offer. And then they just start like piling the pudding in.
Filling a trash bag with it.
Cut to the next scene. We have a hose, and we're in Principal Horn's office. There's a hose coming through the window, and Kenan and Kel are standing there. This all happened very, very quickly.
Kel says she's going to be so mad when she sees these big old holes in her office.
Kenan's just like, "No, we're going to use the hose to fill it up with pudding. Go turn on the pudding pump outside." So Kenan's looking. He's like got the hose. He's so excited. This is great. I'm a genius, he says. And then Principal Horn walks in and he goes, "Bad."
And we see, I want to point this out because it's only like 5 seconds, but we see them out in the parking lot turning on the pudding pump.
Yeah, I love that cut.
The contraption's so cool.
Yeah, do you want to describe it?
It's a shopping cart full of like parts. You can see it like a water cooler, like full of pudding. And there's like 2 hoses connected. There's all these PVC things, and there's like a lever. And like Kel pulls it, and there's like a red, like, I want to call it like a pressure pump thing, like that starts moving. It's really Kids Next Door is what I'm describing.
Yeah. No, it's pretty intense and well done. And then it works. So it starts squirting pudding
all across Principal Horn.
It starts squirting pudding right at Principal Horn, and then Kenan, instead of pointing the hose like say out the window or something,
anywhere else,
he shoots it right at Principal Horn.
This might be why it's Principal Horn and not Principal Dimley. I think Principal Dimley may have seen this script and just said, "I'm not doing that."
Yeah,
she's a dignified woman.
She's like, "No way, I'm too professional for this."
and then Kim Fields, being the champ that she is, just like, "Fine, I'll get sprayed by pudding."
It's such a funny gag.
Yeah, it's classic. You can see that she's sprayed like twice, because at some point she's being pushed all the way back to the wall. Then it cuts and she's back like really close to the nozzle.
It's a lot of pudding.
It is.
I don't know what they were gonna do with the pudding. Like just like ruin her things. Like that's not very funny.
I think Kenan's thinking in like a cartoony way, like it's like The Shining. Like she opens the door and it's just pudding falls out, but
Pudding waterfall.
it's very destructive.
Yeah, there could have been a better. I think like putting pudding on her car.
Filling her car with pudding would probably be easier.
Or filling her car. Maybe not filling. We're just putting it on the outside. Just a bunch of pudding.
Yeah, I think that's a little cleaner.
But I guess that's not the point of a senior prank. No, putting pudding in her gas tank. That would be that would be funny. Do you ever see there's like a TikTok video where this guy takes his car to the shop and he puts SpaghettiOs in his gas tank. Filled it with SpaghettiOs. And then he takes it to the shop and the guy's like, "Oh, there's food in here." Like that's SpaghettiOs. He's like, "What?" He's like, "What? How did they get in there?" "Somebody did this to your car, man." He's like, "Whoa."
She's covered in pudding, very mad. And Mark is there too. He's there to clean things up.
Yes, he volunteered to help clean.
Yeah, and then she's kind of like, when she's ready to like reprimand Kenan, she's like, "Get out of here, Mark." And Mark says, he's like, "Sorry, would you like a rose?"
Yeah, it's so random.
A conspiracy theory. I think this is an inside joke.
Oh wait, remember the rose and the dancing?
Yes, not just that, but at the end of we're talking about the episode The Crush from season 2. Kim Fields plays a substitute teacher. Kenan like has a crush on her. Does she have a crush on me? It was complicated.
Right.
She comes out on stage at the end, and they give her thank you so much. Here's a bouquet of flowers.
Right.
And then she didn't stick around. She kind of left, and like we were thinking, like, oh man, maybe she was like really like bashful. And like Kenan and Kel's reaction was very much like, "Oh, you're not going to say anything? Okay." So maybe it's an inside joke about that. It's like, here you go. Does this make it better if it's a flower? And just get out of here.
Yeah, that was. I think that's got to be it. Something like that. Some inside joke that's not addressed. But, anyways, she shoos Mark out of the office.
As Mark leaves, Kel enters, and I don't like Kel in this scene.
No, Kel's not very good in this scene.
I've been waiting all show for this, all season for this, when he flips over from kind of being very funny to being annoying. And I think he pushes it a little too far in this one, because the bad situation that unfurls is very much, it looks like his doing from this encounter.
It does, yeah. So what happens, Adam?
He first says, "Mark," and then Mark's just like really bummed, like, "Kel," and he leaves.
Yeah, that was sad. And then
he sits down and he's like, "Oh, Kenan, how much trouble are you in?" And Principal Horn's just like, "Kel, this is very private, just me and Kenan." He's like, "Oh, no, I'll be just fly on the wall."
Fly on the wall. Kenan's like trying to talk himself out of it. He's like, "It wasn't really that much pudding. Like, it wasn't really my idea. You just saw me with the hose." And then Kel says, "Kenan, don't be so modest. It was all Kenan's idea."
Yeah, and that's just where it starts. So Principal Horn is like thinking up punishments for Kenan, and it's adding them to the list, which starts with detention all day.
And then Kel laughs in the last day of school detention. Kel laughs in her face. Like, "Ha, you think that's going to stop Kenan? You think that's enough for Kenan?" And this is where what you were talking about kind of shows up, right?
Yeah, and then she goes, "Fine, then you have to clean all the bathrooms in the school." And Kel keeps pushing, like, "Oh, that's nothing. No big deal."
Kenan laughs at your puny little bathrooms.
And Kel's very much, "Shut up, shut up, this is fine." And, and she says, "Fine. What's the final punishment?"
"You are not allowed to attend graduation."
And yeah, that's real bad. Kenan is like, "What?" And yeah, Kel says like, "Oh, that is actually really good."
Right.
So
yeah, Kel's like, "Ooh, that's a good one." Ooh, and he's like, "Oh, ouch! I didn't realize that was gonna happen."
So technically, Kenan is going to graduate. He'll get a diploma in the mail, but he won't be able to go to the actual ceremony.
He's like, "What am I gonna tell my parents?" And she's like, "You're gonna have to tell your parents you're not invited. He can still graduate, but no ceremony."
That's kind of the fourth punishment, is that he has to tell them, because I think in a more realistic setting, she would be the one to let them know.
Exactly. Yeah, right. And I think this is something that doesn't happen anymore, really, because the relationship between administrators and parents is very like professional. The parents are kind of in charge, and the administrators have to like make sure the parents are like okay. It's kind of how it works now. And so if a principal told a parent that their kid wasn't able to graduate because of a prank, there'd be like a riot.
Yeah, agreed. Like the day before too.
Right.
Like your parents have to change their plans around. Like
no. This isn't really very realistic, but
I don't think a principal would like want to sign themselves up for that.
what would you do? I mean, I would just make them clean everything up, which Kel kind of starts to do. Right. This last very unsettling clip in the Principal Horn's office. They're walking out, and then Kel goes, "Wait a second, you still got a little pudding on your forehead." He goes over to Principal Horn and licks her forehead. I'm not a fan of this for Kenan and Kel.
Not good.
This is not on brand.
Yeah, then she like screams and makes a face and makes him leave.
Yeah, that's a little much.
The punishment that I would have is that Kenan, I would make him clean her office.
Yeah, that's
first.
Exactly.
And if he has any time left, clean all the bathrooms in school. If he has any time left, stay in detention. Stay late, like real late, until like the janitors go home, like 7 or
yeah, that's
or
depressing. On the last day of school when everybody's hanging out.
Yeah,
that's good enough punishment.
I assume that like most kids will like do stuff with their friends right after school, and it's like you might have to like push back a graduation meal, but not the whole ceremony. I think that's fair punishment.
That would have been good. But what about everybody else who helped with the prank?
Yeah, they kind of got off scot-free, and they were all like standing around the shopping cart.
Right, they had the evidence right there. What'd they do? Wheel it away?
Another read of this one could be Principal Horn says, "I know you're a good student, but you're not smart enough to make this by yourself."
Right.
So
where's everybody else? But anyways, we know the circumstances. Kenan is not allowed to go to graduation. We go back to the Kenan's front porch, which I like the set.
Yep.
They have a little conversation about how bad the situation is.
I like the lighting too. It's kind of evening. They put like an orange light on the place.
Right.
Yeah, or it's sunset, I should say. And yeah, they're like, "Don't worry, my parents never care about this stuff anyway." Is what?
Yeah,
Kenan
they don't
says.
make a big deal out of all this stuff. They walk in, and of course, happy graduation.
It's a big deal.
There's banners, there's pennants, there's ribbons, there's balloons. Cheryl's basically incredibly excited that Kenan is here, finished his last day of school, and they are going to celebrate at the graduation tomorrow. And she gives Kenan a kiss. They're like, "Okay, son, sit down." And Kenan's like, "Okay, I got good news. They made graduation optional, so we don't have to do it. We don't have to go. We don't have to get dressed up. We don't have to do anything to go to that boring old ceremony."
Yeah, and Kel's the one that says, "What are you talking about? A child's graduation can be the happiest moment of a child's life."
Well, a parent's life.
Of a parent's life.
Exactly. and Cheryl's like, "That's right. I wouldn't miss it for the world." And Kel just keeps rubbing it in.
And Kenan, like, props to him. He's grown so much across the course of this show. At this moment, he's about to say, he's like, "Well, before you get too excited," and he's like, he's going to tell him.
Right. But his parents then kind of give a little karmic retribution here and act like Kenan acts, which is jumping the gun. And they say, no, son, before you say anything else, we got a big surprise for you. And who bursts out of the door that has never been used before?
Kenan's family.
Kenan's entire family. Not entire.
We can't say entire. If this episode proves anything, it's that Kenan has a massive family.
It's a big family.
It's enormous. We see Kenan's, I want to say, approximately third grandma. This is not the grandma that was at Thanksgiving. Or the one that was on like the phone, like, where he left his teddy bear. This is a Hawaii living grandma.
She lives in Hawaii, yes.
Who else is here?
Is it Uncle Lou?
Uncle Louie.
Uncle Louie. We've seen him before.
Yeah, he was in the Kenan's birthday episode.
Yeah, he's too good to forget. He's got a camera around his neck, and he has the biggest smile I've ever seen.
He's great in this episode. I love that he's brought back, and he likes the family now, because if you recall that episode, he got the Babe Ruth baseball.
Oh, right.
And he's like forgiven Roger, and he's like, "You're the best people ever."
Right, because they were not friends, and now they're all good. And then there's a couple other people who we don't really meet.
2 ladies and a dude, maybe like distant aunts and uncles. Once again, we've met so many of his aunts and uncles.
I think the ladies are probably Cheryl's sisters. So aunts.
That's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, "This is gonna be a one graduation to never forget," and we cut to commercial.
Right. We cut back, and Uncle Louie's taking a picture of the family and Kel. Kel should be the one taking the picture, but I don't know if he could be trusted with the camera.
Those are the bookends of the scene. It starts with this, then it ends with Kel taking the photo of them.
Right, exactly.
And this is all conversation that happens between, which I think I kind of like the pacing, the story pacing of this episode.
The pacing is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. Yeah, it really couldn't be better. No, it really like they tell the story in such a like Kenan and Kel way. It fits together really well because it's quick, but it's also like the scenes are long enough where you can like process what's happening.
And the guilt that they pile on Kenan in this scene is immeasurable.
Yeah, it's tremendous. So they basically are like, okay, we're gonna go out to our graduation dinner right now to celebrate you because of all your accomplishments.
Your family flew in from Hawaii to see you graduate. And Cal says, like, you know, "Man, that must be expensive and very time consuming."
Yep.
And let's see, Uncle Louie took an extra vacation day from work.
He's like, "They might fire me, but that's okay."
Which is really, really scary.
Yeah.
As someone with a job nowadays.
Yeah, oh yeah. Just one extra vacation day.
Yeah, some of those bits hit differently.
Right. Yeah. Oh, like, oh my God. And then grandma's been really sick, but she made the trip. Yep. I told the doctor it's best medicine for me to see my grandson graduate. That's right, Mama. And then she starts like coughing, and everybody like rushes to get her some water.
That felt really realistic to me. I felt that as our family before. It's like, oh no, so grandmom's doing something. Everyone rushes to support her.
Right. Oh my gosh.
The matriarch.
You know, I do want to point something out here. The family makes a big deal about the graduation, but Kenan doesn't. Kenan could care less. But the graduation is not for the students.
No, it's for the family, really.
Yeah. Everybody. I think.
Which is why it's a bad punishment.
I don't think people know this, but then they once you're sitting there and you're sweating and you're like gown and you're just really uncomfortable and you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. And then your family is like all like teary eyed and like taking pictures and clapping. You're like, oh, this is not for me. It's like a funeral. It's like,
yeah, right.
Your funeral, you know, the funeral isn't for the person who died. It's for everybody else. It's kind of graduation too.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weddings too. A little bit different, but yeah.
And then we see Kyra kind of leans into Kenan and says to him, it's like, you know, oh man, this is going to be really like terrible when everyone finds out that you're not graduating.
Kenan grabs her and brings her over. Who told you, Kel?
And then he does it really quick. He turns around, smacks Kel, and says, "Why?"
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, "You can't tell anyone." And she says, "I won't. I'm having way too much fun watching you squirm."
Right. And I like this. I like what's happened to Kyra here. She's become Kenan. Like, she's become the Kenan to Kenan, right?
I wish we had 4 seasons of this Kyra. When she's becoming Megan from Drake and Josh.
Yeah, that's exactly her role, right? She's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna treat me like this? Watch this."
Yeah, she's kind of old enough to have more elaborate pranks on Kenan. So this is Kenan's karma in a way that she's orchestrating.
Right, exactly. They take the picture, and Uncle Louie goes, "I want to remember this for the rest of my life."
Uncle Louie's like very sentimental. I'm glad that we kind of broke through his mean exterior. Yeah,
no, he's very fun.
Real teddy
character.
bear.
And Cal's trying to get Kenan to smile, and then we cut to the graduation dinner. I don't think we've seen this restaurant before, Adam.
I don't think so either, and I don't see a name for it anywhere. I don't think it's mentioned.
Let me say, this is a really sweet dinner that they're having for Kenan.
Yeah, it's a long table. You know it when you go out for like a big event. Everyone's there.
They push a couple tables together.
Oh yeah, got a tablecloth on it. Gift set at the end of the table.
And who else is there, Adam?
Chris.
Yeah, that's the best part. Chris
I
is
love when
there.
he's invited to like the family gatherings.
Yeah, they love Chris. They're like good family friends with Chris.
And he has brought presents for the graduates.
Yep, the graduates, both Kenan and Kel.
And I love the little thing he does. It's just so wholesome and real. It's like he gets the gifts. And he's like, who's going to who? Who's going to who? There you go.
Right. Yeah, he's like an uncle. Before that happened, though, Cheryl gave a little toast to Kenan.
She said, I never thought I'd see my baby graduate. And then Kel says, you still won't. Like,
Yeah, and Kenan's like, Kenan saves it. Because you're gonna have tears in your eyes.
yeah. Chris gives them the gifts. What did he get each of them?
He got Kel an orange soda tie.
Very appropriate gift. And I like how they still, like, they got some mutual respect for each other. Despite all the crazy things that Kel's done in Chris's store, he's like, you're graduating.
There's
You
even
get a tie."
orange tissue paper.
Yes, yeah, really thoughtful.
Adam, is that orange soda tie gonna be on Rockmore and Kimball?
I certainly didn't get a good look at it. I'll see what I can do.
It's just a beige tie with an orange soda bottle at the bottom.
Let me tell you what, if I find like 2 hours, it'll be on Rockmore and Kimball. I'll draw it up, put it on there.
I don't even think they made this tie. I think it's just taped on.
Yeah, there's a reason we don't get a good look at it.
No, I mean, I can screenshot it and send it to you right now.
I send it right now.
Well, yeah, what did Kenan get?
Kenan got a pewter cow from Chris's personal collection. A very bad gift.
And then he says goodbye to the cow.
Farewell, Sasha.
There you go.
That is taped on. That's totally...
It's totally taped on, but we're going to make it.
I might do, I don't know if we can, I actually don't know if we can do ties. I know we can do shirts. I can do like a tuxedo shirt, but it has that tie.
That nobody would ever wear that. Nobody would ever wear that. Anyways, who walks in to the restaurant after Kenan opens his gift and Uncle Louie snaps a picture?
It's Principal Horn.
What are the odds?
Yeah, really bad. Another thing to note is that she's not dating the guy that she was dating at the end of The Crush.
Oh, a different date.
I think to your theory about she's moving up, like in high society, like maybe
I
this is
think
like
so,
the superintendent or something.
Yeah,
You know?
she moved away from the Kenan looking guy, and now she's with this like strapping Don Cheadle type.
He does look like looks like a powerful Don Cheadle.
Yeah, like a little taller. Sorry, Don. Yeah, exactly.
So, and I think Kyra points it out, and then everyone's like being like hushed about it.
Cal makes a big scene. He grabs Uncle Louie's camera, goes over to Principal Horn, and is having Principal Horn take a picture of the entire family.
Yep.
The cringes start.
While that's going on, Kyra like digs things deeper. She says that he's like, oh, Kenan's probably just nervous. He's nervous because the principal walked in. He's like, she's probably just nervous because he's giving his big speech tomorrow.
Yeah. This is where Kyra turns pure evil.
Yeah. And everyone's like, I didn't know you were doing a speech. And he's like, yeah, I just learned that I am.
It's just getting worse for Kenan. She's like trying to take Principal Horn is now posed up trying to take the picture, except Kenan's covering his face, and she goes, "You on the right, can you just lower your menu a little bit?"
He
And
does. It's Kenan, and she's like, "Wait, Kenan, what's going on? Is this your family?" And they talk like everything through.
Chris is like, "Yeah, he's been acting weird all week. He took 250 boxes of pudding from the store." And like, "Oh, that's because he's the pudding lover president."
Yeah, got it, right.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And then it's like, "Oh, and are you excited for his speech tomorrow?"
And she's like, he's not. And Kenan takes the camera, flashes it in her face. I think that's hypothetically what he does. There's no actual flash from the camera.
Right.
And then she kind of gets dazed and falls backwards into like the kitchen door.
Yeah, well, he pushes her into the kitchen, and then he's like, "Come on, let's go." And then he's like rushing his whole family to leave, just like panic, absolute chaos. And his grandma's like, "But I'm hungry, I haven't eaten yet." And he goes, "Eat a big breakfast tomorrow. Come on, Grandma, let's go."
Yeah, I can't. It's one of those things where it's like because of the formula of the episode, this has to happen, but I cannot see a world in which he can get his entire family to just leave. Like a dinner plan.
No, that
Like-
wouldn't happen. Also,
Did they all
like,
skip dinner?
Also,
Like-
shouldn't the principal have some heart at that point? Like, oh my gosh,
Exactly.
his whole family is here. Like, okay, he's just a kid still. Unfortunately, he's graduating and he hasn't really grown up, but he's just a kid.
That would be the ultimate, like, twisting of a knife. Like, if she was going to do that, but for some reason or another, Kenan still thinks that she's, like gonna tell on him.
Right, yeah, and then he makes it worse. So we cut to the next scene, and what's Kenan wearing?
An orange graduation gown and hat.
It's so orange. Nick.
He's wearing Nickelodeon orange. It's very funny with Kenan's current dimensions. It's a great, tremendous robe.
It's very big. Kel's on the other hand is very small.
Yes, and he's wearing black. And then Kenan's like, "What? I thought you said we're wearing orange."
It's like, no, you asked me what my favorite soda was, and I said it was orange.
He's very frustrated. He says, "Don't you think I?" As if he was gonna say, "Don't you think I know what your flavor of soda is?"
And he goes, oh, never mind. He's like, I got bigger problems to figure out.
I love this because if everything went off without a hitch, if he graduated normally, he would still be wearing this totally insane neon orange.
Right.
We learned that Kel's like, oh man, I'm freezing.
I don't think he's wearing anything under his gown.
And that's what he confirms. Yes, he's not wearing anything underneath.
He's not wearing anything under his gown. And then Kel's like, man, you're going to have to go through with this. The only way that you're not is if graduation gets canceled. Kenan goes, I will get graduation canceled. So dial no plan. Absolutely no plan. Calls Principal Dimly.
Well, Principal Horn.
Sorry, calls Principal Horn.
That would be a good plan that he calls Principal Dimly and like, they have taken this graduation away from you. You have to turn this.
Right. It's like calls in the backup forces. And what do we have? What do we have here, Adam? With the scene?
We get a split screen. I love that Kenan picks up the phone and he doesn't dial anything. He just says school. And then...
That's the cartoon world is real. Right away, she answers. I don't know why she's at her desk on graduation morning.
No idea.
But she is.
Kenan comes up with a voice.
Hello, this is what does he say his name is?
This is Pete, the groundskeeper.
Yeah, she goes, our groundskeeper's name is Larry. It's like, well, whatever my name is. Can't have graduation today because the field is covered in cockroaches. Yeah. Big, giant cockroaches.
Ridiculous, but true.
Well, it's ridiculous, but true. So.
Yeah. They're big, they're man-eating, it's terrible, you can't have graduation. And then she sees right through his clever... right through his scheming.
She goes, Kenan!
Yeah. Is this some kind of prank? And then as she says prank, she's like, wait, is this Kenan? Slams the phone is what Kenan does. And then that's it. Like, he's like, that's the end of his schemes.
He just gave up. He's run the course. The schemes have run their course. There is nothing he can do.
The whole family comes down. What does Uncle Louie have?
Well, before that, Kel goes, like, and you were going to make me go to graduation when there's man-eating cockroaches. How could you? I thought you were my friend.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. That's a good gag.
And then everybody comes downstairs. Uncle Louie has a video camera.
Yes, he does. Brand new.
He just got it because as soon as he heard Kenan was giving a speech, he couldn't miss it for the world.
He spent every penny that he had.
I do not like Uncle Louie's money sense here.
No, I would agree. I mean, he always has the autograph ball to fall back on, but I don't see him ever selling that. He's too sentimental.
Everybody looks great, though. Dressed to the nines.
Oh, absolutely. And then they're asking Kenan, like, hey, Kenan, why is your gown a different color?
He's like, oh, it's because I'm giving the speech. And, speech is Latin for orange.
Yeah.
I love how little sense that made.
And then he's like, everyone's going to leave per Roger's instructions. Rogers does a really good, like, dad in charge of ceremony.
He does. Like, gotta get everybody to the car.
Minutes. Yeah. Kenan says, wait, no, we can't go. The door is locked.
Kel's like, no, it's not. Opens it up.
It's not only is it a bad excuse, it's also wrong.
It's also not locked.
Yeah.
He's really running out of ideas, though. He's like, anyways, we have a cap as our transition scene here, like an orange cap, Kenan's orange cap.
Real quick, right before this, we do get a shot from Uncle Louie's camera when they think Kenan's gonna do like a test of his speech. Right. And it's a neat camera angle. I like the Louie cam. Go on.
Yeah, it says record. It's like the little red frame. Yeah. The cap is orange. It has a tassel on it. Tassel says 99.
Correct.
What does it say on the podium here, Adam?
The banner says class of 2000.
Well, yes, that's what I meant. Yeah, class of 2000. So they got something wrong there.
We learned last episode that Kenan was born in 1982, making him 18 in the year 2000. I believe the sign is correct. It's the year 2000. They filmed this in 1999, and they got like leftover robes and robe parts, so all the little tassels say 99.
Yeah,
that's the explanation.
I would, yeah.
Yeah. So
I kind of want a 99
tassel,
like tassel. That's pretty sweet.
It's pretty neat. I think that
That's got to be the coolest one.
you don't like the 2 zeros?
I mean, no, come on. How about 99?
Well, there you go.
The 2 zeros are overused every year with the New Year's glasses.
Oh, you know what? We did have like 9 years of.
Yeah, just like just New Year's glasses with a bunch of zeros in it.
I was so mad in 2010 when they didn't use like the 0 and 10. They just made the one like square.
So stupid. I blame Ryan Seacrest. I'm kidding. Ryan Seacrest, if you're listening, please, we would love to interview you.
Send us an email at KenanCalPodcast@gmail.com. We want to have you on.
Yes.
We want to be a part of Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's.
You look almost as cool as the guy sitting next to Kel when they've all taken their seats.
I will climb up the steps of the Sears Tower to celebrate New Year's.
I will profess my love to all the Bryans out there.
So
Brian or the Ryans. Ryan Seacrest.
Adam Hart Ryan is what the banner will say. I didn't make that connection. Good job.
My favorite thing about that whole episode was that there's no way anybody would ever see that sign. It's so high. It's so small.
It is.
It's so stupid.
They would see it from a regular skyscraper at the top of it. Or even like a building would be hard.
I would be like,
the
what's that
streets would get in the way.
Anyways, here we are. We're sitting in this little courtyard field area. There's not a lot of people.
I always love when they film outdoors.
I do too. Because everybody's squinting.
Not a lot of people. Yeah, they got all sunglasses on. I think it's shot in a good way because you never see the full crowd. It kind of looks like you can imagine like a full senior class is there and all their families. This is a very important moment for our podcast coming right up here because Kel laments about his parents not being here.
Yes. What do you parents do exactly? Kenan asks. After how many years of friendship?
I want to say at least 10, maybe 14.
And Kenan asks him what his parents do, and then he tells us.
His dad is a rocket scientist.
And his mom is a brain surgeon.
To which Kenan says, "Oh, wow." Like he's surprised in like a genuine way. And so yeah, the joke is that Kel's parents are super smart.
And they're traveling. So that's why they can't be at his graduation.
Which you can read into that a lot. You could see this, conspiracy time. Maybe this is why Kel, one of the reasons Kel's always staying at Kenan's house.
And one of the reasons Kel seems so neglected.
Yes. Why he's so desperate for attention because he doesn't get it at home because his parents are always traveling.
And he probably has some undiagnosed attention deficit disorder.
I agree.
Who wants to diagnose their kid with something?
And maybe there was once a time when he was like real young and he was going to like preppy schools and really smart kid things and he had a lot of information just kind of shoved in his head. That's why he breaks and he's very stupid all the time. Maybe he's being stupid to kind of because he resents his parents.
Yeah, but then he has these moments of brilliance and where he has really high IQ because his parents are both smart.
Because of like his mental illness and like his and he has this breakthrough like genius moments.
Yep. I think that checks out.
It adds to the lore, doesn't detract like the rest of this episode.
Right, the rest of this episode kind of goes backwards, but it does check out. Okay, then we are all sitting down and they start calling names, right?
Dominic Adams, Paul Allen, Chris Anderson, Ross Anderson, Wanda Armstrong, all the A's.
Blah, blah, blah. All the A's. And then it's time for Kel.
Uh-huh. The person before Kel is Maria Running Bear Kim. Which, it's the 90s if someone's middle name is Running Bear. And what is Kel's full name? Another wonderful moment.
Kel Einstein
Hypothalamus Kimball.
Do you know what hypothalamus is, Adam?
Is it like a part of the brain?
It is indeed.
Not a name.
Pretty sure it's the center of memory and emotion.
What, are you serious?
Yeah.
That, building on the Kel lore,
Yes.
he's... we've talked about how emotionally aware he is.
Mm-hmm.
And how, like, crazy memory drops that he has. So it's weird that that's his name. A word that isn't a name.
Yes. Production of hormones. Emotions. Yeah, emotions. Sleep cycles. Balancing body fluids.
Wait, he's always off balance. Maybe he put his hypothalamus inside his name.
Wait, ready? Okay.
Wait, his mom brain surgeoned the hypothalamus into his name.
Okay, so functions of the hypothalamus, ready?
Yeah.
Maintaining homeostasis, connecting endocrine system, which is the hormones, with the nervous system, which is the brain, stimulates and inhibits many of the body's activities for homeostasis, so it does that through hormones, so body temperature, pulse, all that. Essential functions in the body, including childbirth, not important, but Kel did play a woman who gave birth. Emotions.
We've talked about that at length.
Sleep cycles. Balancing body fluids. Think back to the thing that he drank with the 5 liters of orange soda in it, or the 5 gallons.
Yeah, the orange soda grog.
The grog. Next one, appetite and thirst control.
Oh no!
He ate a whole turkey.
Yeah,
he
his
drinks,
thirst control is insane.
and his appetite too when he eats. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then blood pressure and heart rate.
Wow. That's like discovering like that Kenan was an Aries last episode.
I think yes. Kel Einstein Hypothalamus Kimball. I like how his full first name is Kel too.
Yeah, it's not short for anything.
Not Kelly, not anything.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to mention what Kel Mitchell's full name is. Kel Johari Rice Mitchell.
Rice.
Johari Rice. There's 2.
There we go. Johari Rice.
Yeah, he's credited in that in a couple other shows that he was on.
I like it. Well, I think we just figured out a lot about Kel. Kel runs up on stage.
I'm glad he practiced for this.
Plays the xylophone a little bit. That the guy. I don't know why the guy accordion. Yeah. Hugs Principal Dimly, picks her up, spins her around, knocks over the table of diplomas, gets his, and then goes back and sits down next to Kenan. And he goes, "Woo!"
When he knocks over the table, he gets on the floor and like starts picking them up. And as we learned earlier, he ain't wearing nothing underneath.
Oh right.
And this is some karma for Kyra, because she's in the audience next to Grandma. Grandma's got binoculars. And Grandma says something to the tune of, "Holy hickama, that boy ain't wearing any pants."
And then Kyra's trying to get the binoculars from her.
Yeah, she's like desperate, like, give me them, Grandma, give me them. So yeah, karma comes around to her too.
Then they call the next guy. Mary Sue Lubinsky. And then Kenan's just like, I need to get my diploma. The only way that I won't get the diploma is if a bulldozer runs through the stage. Like, I need to figure out something to get this diploma.
Yeah, so he, when that name's called, he runs up on stage and it's so funny seeing him do this in a giant orange robe. He's like a specter. He just like sprints across the stage, grabs it from the guy, and runs away.
I just sent you a great clip from this moment. In the episode, there's like a it's Kenan's face. He's like so determined, and then he runs past Mary Sue Lubinsky, almost knocks her over, flies up, like jumps across half the stage, and then grabs her diploma, like almost falls off, pauses for his family and friends, his family to take pictures, and then he runs away. And like, can you believe that? Roger says they pronounced Kenan's name wrong.
It just always gets a good laugh out of me. Now, after all the diplomas are out, and they didn't do anything about that. That's the crazy part. No one said anything there.
Nope, they just let it happen. No security, no anything.
And what's crazy is that after that, Kenan, he was in the clear.
Yeah, he was good. That was it.
He didn't need to pretend like he was going to give a speech. No one's gonna hold him to it. If Charlotte does her speech and then they all throw their caps, that's over. He's like, oh man, they skipped my speech.
Yeah, they accidentally forgot my speech.
It's a part of a good Kenan Kel episode where they're in the clear, but then it gets worse.
Right, so Charlotte goes up. Charlotte Morrison, as we learned her name is. I think we might have learned
We know that,
before.
yes.
We knew that. Thank you, fellow students, faculty, administration, blah, blah, blah. And then Kenan jumps up on stage. And he goes... I don't even know what he says.
I have it right here. This reminds me of a time when a diplomist, William Jones III, said, when you dream, make sure you don't fall asleep on the bus. He said that slowly as he's like making it up. As Principal Horn is like cornering him and trying to catch him basically on stage.
And some of the other administrators who are taller are like, no, it's time for you to go. And then what do we hear coming from the side of the stage, Adam?
Oh, she's like, it's about time you tell everyone what's going on here. Which is insanely embarrassing. He's about to admit, like, well, the truth is, and up rolls...
A Kai pillar.
Kai Pilla.
A Kai Pilla massive bulldozer.
Yeah, it's the Caterpillar logo. It's the
Loger.
Caterpillar. Yeah, I did what they did to the word.
It's the loger. That word is so much better than logo.
They changed up the logo and they like doctored it so it doesn't look like Caterpillar, but it clearly is. It rolls up and the door opens up and Cal's there and is like, "Hey, Kenan, I got that bulldozer you mentioned."
And then he closes the door, rolls through the stage as everybody gets off of it, and just demolishes it.
Favorite shot of the episode is like of the audience as everyone in their robes is running towards the camera, like in panic.
Right.
As this bulldozer like destroys the set.
Yep.
So,
they're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Cal stands up on the afterwards and he throws his cap and he's happy graduation.
Yep. Whoa! We rush onto the normal stage here.
Yep.
And I do have this end cut, Adam.
Great. You see Kenan reprising his yellow leather jacket.
Yes, and Kel with his beige yellow jacket.
Mm-hmm. So, and then Kel says, like, hey, I'm so happy we got away with everything.
Kenan goes, got away with what?
Yeah, he's like, he starts listening. It's like, Principal Horn found out everything. My parents grounded me for the whole summer. And Uncle Louie hasn't stopped crying. He also adds that we're not allowed back at that school for the rest of our lives.
Right. So clearly they didn't get away with everything.
What did they do next here?
They're like, we had some good times the past few years. They zoom in, the harp starts playing.
You see the wavy transition?
The screen gets all blurry. And you think it's going to cut to like a clip reel, but it just keeps on getting blurrier, and then it zooms back into focus. They go, oh, wow.
Yeah, I was very disappointed by that. Maybe they ran out of time in the episode, I guess, but there's clearly supposed to be a clip show here of them getting into trouble at school.
Isn't there a clip reel episode coming up?
There is.
So I think that was like a foreshadowing for that.
Yeah, perhaps there is. That is it. I think I'm gonna put it upon myself to pick the clips from different episodes about like what would belong in here.
I think that'd be good. That would get some views.
Keenan's like, all right, Cal, on to our next adventure. Grab a textbook, a campus map, and a beekeeper suit, and meet me at college. Come on, Billy. And then what does he do to Cal here?
He slaps his shoulder and then Cal spins.
Yeah, it's a real big reaction.
Yeah. I do want to point something out. You said campus map. My subtitles said cabbage map. So I think we're gonna go with cabbage map.
You got it. That's really funny.
And then Kel goes, college? What? And do I have to take something at college?
Yeah. What college? Do I have to take a beekeeping class?
Which Kel would be very good at. And then it's, here it goes.
That's Kenan and Cal, the graduates.
Well, we've been going for a while here, Adam.
Yeah, we talked about this for a graduate length time. The amount of time a ceremony would take.
Yeah. Let's talk whatever we normally talk about.
Whose fault do you think this episode was? Kenan's or Kel's?
I'm gonna say Kel's.
He really kept pushing Principal Horn to keep punching Kenan.
Yeah, that was Kel's fault. He just made everything worse.
Yeah, he did continue to do so throughout the episode too. All Cal's fault.
Except he did save the day with the bulldozer.
But as we reveal in the end, he didn't save anything.
He saved nothing. He only made things worse.
So that goes down, and then finally,
meet the Rockmores. We learned about Kel's family and the Rockmores.
Yeah, such a great info dump for the Rockmore and Kimball families. We learned that Kel's parents have jobs and they're away, and he's traumatized by that.
Yes, he's neglected.
What do you think of this episode as a whole, Aaron? As we get to final ratings here.
It was good. It was missing something, though. It was missing some kind of compassion on behalf of Kenan and Kel. It was and their family, or Kenan's family. Mm-hmm. It was missing a little love from Kel, or Kel doing his best, which I like to see in a lot of episodes. Missing a little Chris. Didn't utilize Charla as well as they could have. For a graduation last day of school episode for these two guys that we have watched grow up, I thought it didn't really meet the standard for me.
That end scene kind of captures their feelings about school and Kenan and Kel at school. It's remember our great times? I'm like, not really. Their best times were out of school.
Yeah, he did a pretty bad job. The show didn't really do the best job of capturing Kenan and Kel in school. At times it did, but this episode kind of capped that off with kind of a mediocre school performance. There are many other TV shows that deal with young people, that deal with school.
Some deal with school exclusively, like Ned's Declassified.
Right, and I think Kenan and Kel is a nice reprieve from that. At the same time, it should have done the school episodes a little bit better, in my opinion. So, but overall, it was still funny, and got me through the day.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was an episode that really worked down from me. It started my memory as a 10. Then the more I watched it, I'm like, oh man, this is one that I'm cringing a little bit more than I remembered. And it's one where the continuity for a show, our job as the podcast when we keep track of this stuff, when they don't, the creators of the show aren't paying attention to what the name of the school is, and it would
make the show so much better if there was a little bit more effort in world building.
I would agree entirely.
I know that they've switched around writers a lot, and it's a lot of guest writers, and there's not that one writer every episode. That hurts them, in my opinion, because the director's one thing, but the director gets the script, and so there's not a consistent every episode writer. That's probably what hurts Kenan and Kel the most. At the same time,
it helps it out a lot. You get a bunch of different voices.
Yeah, it helps it out a lot, and then you get different voices because one person's not making all the money from every single episode. So it is what it is, but that's Kenan and Kel. It would have been nice for a little more continuity, but that's all right.
And worth mentioning two things here. This episode is directed by Ken Whittingham. Never directed an episode of Kenan and Kel before. It was written by Jonathan Green and Gabe Miller, two writers that we've never seen before. They do one other episode later this season.
I mean, for their first time, it's not bad. They definitely know the formula.
Right. But I think
they didn't write Kel right.
Exactly. So, on IMDb, this episode is ranked 36 out of 62 with a 7.5. Out of 10 bottles of orange soda, how many would you give The Graduates?
I'm going to give it a 7.5. I'm going to match IMDb.
That's not bad. I'm feeling like an 8. Because I do like a lot of things that this episode does. It's a nice reunion. I like seeing old Kyra have something to do for once, maybe the only time in the show.
Right. Mark Cram comes back.
Yeah, Uncle Louie comes back. Miss Horn comes back, and it's
right.
a crazy backstory that we can only dream of.
Right.
So, all in all, I thought it's on the upper half of episodes, but not by much.
I would agree.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Kenan and Kel, Aaron. And we threatened to talk about it, but I just want to tag here. I did do my school graduation speech. It wasn't valedictorian. I was just a regular old student. I had no tassels, no cum laude or anything like that. I just was the only writer in an engineering class. So I rose to the occasion, and it was a very, very great opportunity. If you have that in your schools or your kids do, make sure they give it a shot. Who knows? They can be given a fun speech that'll make you cry.
Yeah, I remember watching your speech, Adam. It was great. It was better than the other guys who was the valedictorian triple major guy, and everybody liked yours better than his. So, and that's because we don't hear enough from the average kid,
from the little people,
the little guys. Yeah, that's what you coming from Philadelphia. That's what you brought to that big New York school. So that's it. We'll see you next week when we touch. Oh, here goes to Hollywood Part 1.
Yeah, let's go to Hollywood.
We'll see you next time, everybody. Until then, here it goes. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. If you want to stay in touch, send us an email at KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com, or you can send us a voice message at anchor.fm/KenanKelPodcast. Our social media accounts are all at KenanKelPodcast. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thanks, everybody.